I just kept remembering I'm just gonna be a caged animal for the rest of my life in this van.
The segment of humanity most affected our children. The numbers are startling.
It's a world that is rather ignored.
Young girls with their breasts all burnt because of cigarettes.
So girls that were forced to have sex with many clients, he would keep them on heroin. They didn't have any sort of expression on their face.
Out of a truck stop that's got 50 trucks in it, you're probably gonna get 46 of them that want you to come. Being 13, we could end up in a ditch somewhere.
We are talking about the slave trade in many manifestations.
We have for labor, for begging, for organs, for adoption.
We're dealing with human greed. It's a slave trade. We call it trafficking.
But human trafficking is just a sort of a slogan.
What is happening with other kids being used to make money? Nothing but modern-day slavery. People are being used against their will to make a fortune.
What it calls for is soul-searching.
People prefer to ignore it.
How is it possible that a human being can treat another person in this way?
They committed monstrous acts.
They no longer are human beings. Psychologically, they're dead.
And I started to just think that maybe I deserved this for doing this to my parents and to myself.
They are being entangled by the net itself, and since they can't come out, they lose their breath and they die.
This is the first fishing boats we've seen. What's this little boy in the red here?
He's fishing with these guys.
Yeah.
Where your friend is a small boy, you know? Ima, his name is Ima. I've been trafficked for a long time.
They've been trafficked for a long time?
Long time, yeah. And,
how old are these boys?
Ima, what did you say? 10.
10.
When low wages become no wages, and when cheap labor becomes slave labor, that's when you get human trafficking.
We are so much used to associate slavery with chains and with iron balls, and it's not like this. That you can be enslaved because you need this. You need to eat, you have a family to feed, and then you will endure anything to feed your child. And this is also enslaving.
I can't seize a good life while there are people living like animals.
The history of forced child begging started with the noblest of intention. In time, however, things seem to have deteriorated in such a way that it became something of an efficient, sadly efficient commercial exploitation of children.
There's no doubt in my mind that the world is a place full of great evil and great, great violence.
They are typical human traffickers. They are representative for Bucharest and also in other parts of Romania.
He beat me so much, he missing one teeth, and I was pregnant.
After 3 or 4 months working for the traffickers, they are numb. And that's why we have so many suicidal attempts.
And the kind of stories you could hear was, execution, either shot or burned.
Ovidiu started at 14, which is amazing. He was just part of the trade in human beings that is ongoing in Bucharest.
Nu știu, după părerea mea că toată viața o să trăiască cu coșmarul ăsta. Și viziunile mai reușit să se schimbe, dar nu o să mai putea să fie femeie normală niciodată.
I can tell you that in the United States, we're confronted with a situation now where thousands of kids are being trafficked from state to state and throughout our country.
We're walking around. There's lots of semis, and there's also a lot of girls out there, and a lot of them are they look like half our age. They look like they could be like 8 or 9 years old.
She was forced to perform different sex acts on these men for different prices, and at the end of the night would turn her money over, all of her money, to this individual.
We get in the first truck, and the guy decides he wants me, so I go back there, and I just have to pray to God, just please help me, just please let me get through it, and then Melissa went through his wallet, and he had grandkids as old as us. And all I could think about the whole time was how my grandpa could be this guy right now, and how that would feel. And I just wanted to die.
I would never forget the look of these girls. And I'm afraid that was just a simple example in a galaxy with so many hundreds of thousands, perhaps a million of them around the world, which we never see.
Somebody somewhere is not listening enough to be able to address these problems.
I do think things are changing in the world. I do think there's a movement afoot. I don't think yet it has reached critical mass, yet to where we've reached that tipping point. But what that suggests is that people who get engaged now have an opportunity to actually have an impact.
We have to believe that there is a better world that we're working towards. We have to have a higher hope for humanity.
Each one of us has the capacity to become a saint.
That enough people will have the epiphany to think, this needs to change, and it will change. And so I think it's going to take a long time, but I think we're going to get there.
We're really on the positive side of things, talking about the fact that there is a kind of some real hope.